Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansi. The governor hosted a press conference Wednesday morning to bring the territory up to date on the outcome of his recent trip to Guam. He also discussed a number of other issues, including his upcoming travel plans. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
The governor opened up the press conference to talk about his trip to Guam. He spent a lot of time talking about the things we need to think about as a territory because of climate change. Governor Kenneth Mapp said he got an education from the conference he recently returned from in Guam.
Climate change or global change affecting the planet in terms of in the Virgin Islands in particular, hotter, drier summers, when you see more incidences of dengue.
The governor said that senior citizens and young children and even capital projects because of rising sea levels are at risk, so a plan of attack to address the impact of climate change is necessary.
We need to do a codified effort to figure out as the summers get hotter, what is going to be our strategy. We understand that the elevation in which we prepare to spend this $140 million in 10, 15, 20 years as sea level rise. Will this highway be built at the proper site, or will it be overrun by splashing because we have not prepared for the global change?
Mr. Mapp said the Department of Interior is setting aside $7 million to assist the territorial governments in dealing with the global changes. For example, the Departments of Health and Human Services response might be cooling centers and hydration. That all has to be worked out. The governor announced the appointment of former Senator Sean Michael Malone as the federal programs coordinator. His responsibility will be to work with the private and public sectors as well as the federal government to make sure the VI stays on top of the resources that will help its efforts. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, Governor Mapp also announced his upcoming travel schedule. He heads to Puerto Rico next to discuss emergency supplies, then on to D.C. to sit down with federal officials and members of Congress to get more money for new roads. His last stop will be in New York, where he will work on partnerships for the VI police and UVI. Well, meanwhile, the governor also took the opportunity to address the issue of the villa he rented for several months on St. Thomas. The West Indian Company Board had approved a resolution on Tuesday relating to the payments for the villa. News 2's April Knight has details.
The West Indian Company Board has agreed Tuesday to pay the St. Thomas rental expenses racked up by Governor Kenneth Mapp during his first 5 months in office. The controversial Villa Fratelli Cresta cost $12,500 a month for January and February, and then $14,500 a month after that.
The final analysis, the owner and the West Indian Company agreed that they would pay, they would bill for $12,500 a month, all inclusive for the 4 or 5 months that I spent there.
The WICO board, chaired by the governor's chief of staff, Randy Knight, agreed Tuesday to pay $12,500 a month for January to May. Mapp is the latest governor to decide not to live in Estate Catherineburg because the official residence is deemed hazardous and unlivable. In May, the governor vacated the villa after the exorbitant fees caused a firestorm with the press and outcry in the community. On Wednesday, the governor lambasted the Fourth Estate for scrutinizing his movements too closely.
I don't understand the irrationality of that behavior. And I'm not saying it's you, I'm just saying in the media in general. And we had a request of where I'm staying. I have made a decision of where I'm going to stay. It's not a priority for me. But we have a request calling every hotel in St. Thomas trying to find out where you're sleeping. What is, I do not know what creates this issue.
He has said he could be the only governor in the nation without a home in the capital of his jurisdiction. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Governors of the Virgin Islands do have access to other properties owned by the government apart from Estate Catherineburg on St. Thomas. Well, in other news, friends, relatives, and government officials were on hand for the dedication of the St. Croix Wastewater Treatment Center. The state-of-the-art facility is named in honor of Harold Thompson, Jr., and waste management officials presented his family with a plaque in his honor. They also unveiled the sign with his name.
This is indeed a very, very happy moment. It reminds me of another privilege that Junior gave me when he was honored as the first Virgin Islander to receive a Congressional gold medallion and a certificate by President Carter.
His legacy was short, but it was impactful. It was important, and it is important going forward for young people to realize that you can come home and make a difference.
Great honor there. Well, a meeting was held recently to form a community advisory association. Residents and business owners met with officials to address their concerns. They met with Police Commissioner Delroy Richards, who fully supports the association. Now, they plan to meet twice a month on Thursdays to discuss issues such as public safety, raising necessary funds for the community and other organizations. And then they'll meet with the commissioner to discuss solutions. Anyone interested in joining can call 340-513-4041. Department Commissioner Curtis Griffin, Chief Darren Foy, along with Pastor Weeks, Chief Eugene Alcindor, Officer Roy Chesterfield, and much more were in attendance. Crime Stoppers empowers you to make your neighborhoods safe by reporting information while remaining totally anonymous. To learn how to do this, you should visit www.crimestoppersusvi.org and click on How It Works. Remember, if you know something, say something, as law enforcement needs to know what you know. Police say on St. Croix they want your help solving this cold case. On Sunday, March 23, 2003, 25-year-old Yasser Ishmael, co-owner of the liquor and more store in Barron Spot, was shot in the chest and killed by two masked gunmen who were apparently attempting to rob him as he was leaving his store. Over on St. Thomas on Thursday, January 13, 2011, 29-year-old Rachel Jah of Smith Bay was shot to death. According to the police report, officers responded about 11 a.m. to a call of shots fired in Smith Bay. Arriving minutes later, they were told the victim was being transported by a private vehicle to the Roy Lester Schneider Medical Center, where he later died of his injuries. Over on St. John, police are still looking for your help. On May 29th, at approximately 11:10 p.m., officers were dispatched to the area of Kangasgata in Cruz Bay. Upon arrival, officers observed a black male slumped over a patio chair. Upon further inspection, police discovered that Kenson Jolly, known as Jolly from Pastory, had been shot several times. If you know anything about this homicide, they're asking you to call the St. John Criminal Investigations Unit at 693-8880 or Crime Stoppers. You can log on to www.crimestoppersusvi.org or by calling 1-800-222-TIPS. Some 54 Haitian migrants were recently returned by the United States Coast Guard to Haiti after a migrant interdiction operation south of St. John on June 10th. A Coast Guard aircraft responded to reports of suspicious overloaded vessel drifting offshore. The Coast Guard cutter Ford took the migrants on board, which included children, before transferring them to the Coast Guard cutter Valiant, which took them back to Haiti on Tuesday. Kendrick Christopher, a Grenadian national, and Jared Chillingford of the Dominican Republic were charged in district court in relation to this particular instance of alien smuggling, as we reported. Turning our attention overseas, bad weather in the mainland. The remnants of Tropical Storm Bill are moving northward across Texas, bringing heavy rain and the risk of tornadoes into Oklahoma and Arkansas. Now a tropical depression, the storm is causing flooding problems for areas still recovering from last month's record rain. Roads quickly turned into lakes Wednesday as the remnants of Tropical Storm Bill dumped as much as 5 inches of rain. While the rain has pretty much ended in Dallas and points south, the runoff could cause flooding problems for the rest of the week. Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. As we can see, everything's up there. The Dow, 31, NASDAQ, 9, S&P 500, 4. Coming up on News 2, the Department of Labor has some information on the Summer Youth Work Experience Program for young people ages 14 to 24. Plus, former Senator Allison Petrus has officially adopted Emil Griffith Ballpark on Veterans Drive, St. Thomas. He says to give back to the community. Welcome back. Former Senator and businessman Allison Petrus has officially adopted Emil Griffith Ballpark on Veterans Drive, St. Thomas. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter and Petrus were once teammates at one point on the campaign trail. Potter made the announcement on Tuesday afternoon during a live press conference at the park. The move was part of a new program overseen by the Lieutenant Governor's office.
Played basketball and baseball as a young person, and so it's a lot of love that I have for sports and the facilities.
Local businessman and former Senator Ali Petrus says this is why he wants to give back. So he went to first base and adopted the Emil Griffith Ballpark.
Sports is my first love, and I recognize the value of it in keeping our young people engaged and active.
The adoption of the park launched a new program overseen by the Lieutenant Governor's office called the SPRAT program.
The Sports Park and Recreation Adoption Team, known as the SPRAT program. And on this team can be very large. We're hoping that it's very large. This is not going to be like a basketball team that only have 5 members on it.
So what's the ballpark figure estimated to maintain that park?
By adopting the facility, he's going to be committing to taking care of the facility, taking care of, for example, the lights.
Our businesses are Sabaros, Subway, PG Gas, and Petrus Plaza. And all those 4 businesses combined are going to be engaged in taking care of this facility.
Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter said the plan for park adoption did not come out of left field.
It has been my desire since coming into office, since during the campaign trail. It was my belief that with public-private partnership, we can in fact do a whole lot when it comes to our facilities.
We thank this community for their support of our businesses, and this is the way we say thank you by giving back to our community, by supporting activities such as this and events that will be able to help our young people stay out of trouble.
Any businesses or individuals willing to participate, you can call Janelle Saru in the Lieutenant Governor's office at 774-2991. They were also looking for adopters for the Albane Ballpark in Frenchtown, Smith Bay Parks on St. Thomas, and Scion Farm, DC Canagata, and Wim Complex on St. Croix, among others. St. Croix's adult education program can boast of their more than 70 graduates. On Tuesday, 74 graduates from the school's class of 2015 crossed the stage for their high school diplomas. The graduates range in age from 18 to almost 70 years of age. Alicia Belardo was hailed as the class valedictorian and Carmen Nelson as the class salutatorian. 22 of the graduates are headed to college, 4 plan to join the military, and 6 are headed to trade school. 30 are entering or staying in the workforce, and 10 are undecided. Each year, the Department of Labor holds its Summer Youth Work Experience program for young people ages 14 to 24. They also have the LIFT program for college students. Here's more from the Department of Labor.
We try to select individuals who are first-time employees and also those who are most so needs, and we use different funding sources. We use local government funding sources and also federal funding sources. We have the LIFT program, which has been around for 26 years. It's an acronym, Labor Investing for Tomorrow. We place them more so in careers towards their major, more so attached to their major. And luckily this year, just as in previous years, we've found some great private sector sponsors that could help subsidize and pay for the salaries of our LIFT students.
A great program there. Now, here's something to consider for the summer. A summer musical theater camp is about to kick off in less than a week. So if your child wants to learn all about the theater and stage presence, be sure to send them into the woods. That's the name of the productions. From June 22nd to August 12th, students can not only learn but be part of the Broadway Junior Collection. The performances will be held July 27th to August 2nd. The music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim and book is by James Lapine. Call 775-7877 for more information. The Caribbean Genealogy Library will be holding a workshop on June 27th entitled Facing Slavery. That workshop is twofold. Experts will talk about the best way to discover long-lost ancestors who lived between the 1850s and 70s, as well as how to research your family tree. Organizers also hope the workshop will kick off a month-long research project to find the ancestors who lived during the 1830s and 40s. That workshop will be held at the Caribbean Genealogy Library in Alcoa Plaza, and it starts at 2 on the 27th. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.